Investing in US debt by foreign countries is done for many reasons. Each situation is different, but it could be to offshore inflation by moving their currency out of the country, and it could be to buy into what some investors would deem to be a very safe asset. Either way, we need to look deeply into who is buying what, when, and why. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at the situation in Russia and the US, talking about their debt, talking about Japan here as well, looking at other countries, looking at currencies, so much to talk about. Beginning with this, I just covered this in a video, the previous one to this, and you could see that Russia's treasury holdings have gone from about 100 billion down to 50 billion here. It looks like they are weaning off of the US dollar. There are some individuals who have said this might not be the case, but don't just look at it on a daily basis. Look at the trend that has formed here over the past few years. It has been declining. Clearly, that's the direction they're going. They may decide to buy more, but it looks like they are over time selling off. They may decide to stabilize it at 50 billion for the next little while. I don't know, but what I can tell you here is that this is a significant drop in such a short period of time. They're not the only ones though, because Japan is also selling off. They're not doing it as dramatically as that, but you can see that they have gone from a peak in about end of 2014 here down to the levels we see just above that $1 trillion mark. They decided that this would be a good idea for them, and they've been continuing with this process here over the last few years. It's not just an overnight thing again. They have been also engaging in the same exact thing that Russia is doing. Japan is one of the biggest holders of US debt, and clearly they've been selling off. Foreign governments pulled back their purchases of longer-term US debt as trade tensions escalated around the world. The declines are relatively small so far for notes and bonds, just shy of 5 billion each for March and April, but it signals a potentially troubling trend, and that's what I'm trying to highlight to you. There's still trillions and trillions of debt. But of course, if we see that trend escalating, it becomes a problem, because all of this, everything that's happening with the US, is based on the fact that somebody else is buying up their debt. As long as there's a buyer for their debt, then they don't have a problem. Now, there is the lender of last resort, the Federal Reserve, who can come in and buy it up. But of course, they would hyperinflate the currency in doing so. Will they? Maybe in the longer term. We need all the help we can get in the search for buyers of US treasuries due to the enormous supply coming our way in the next few years. Our stance on the trade with our trading partners could very well play into this coming months and quarters, especially with China, the largest owner of US treasuries. So we're going to keep our eyes on this. I need to cover this issue consistently to bring it to you, and I hope you do appreciate that. Now, last but not least here, monthly change in TSY holdings of foreign official institutions. This is in billions of dollars. You can see that this right here, treasuries being sold off at a rate we haven't seen since 2016. So this is very significant. It could be a one-off. We're going to see how the trend continues, but it is very important to watch it, to look at what other countries are doing. The tensions are escalating very clearly right here, and I want to be the one to show you, to make sure that this information is understood right when it happens, or at least as soon as I can get it to you. I'll end it there, not going to rant on anymore. If you found the video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I like to do short videos, I like to do long videos, I like to do 2 parts, I like to do 1 part, I like to do everything just to get you the information, and sometimes I rant on, sometimes I don't. That's all for this video. Wanted to tell you that if you found the video informative, I know you're going to find my books even more informative. If you went through school, or you're in school right now, you probably would know that you didn't learn a single thing about the financial system. So these 2 books will give you everything you need to know. All the basics, everything that's not covered in the schools are covered in these 2 books. So if you want to check them out for yourself, all you got to do is go to the link in the description. It's going to bring you over to Amazon. You can flip through the pages of the books for yourself. If you're more interested in the audiobook version, you can get that at themoneygps.com.